Hello, and welcome to the last Wright Virtual Visits of 2022. I'm Anna Kaplan, Executive Director of Graycliff, coming to you today just outside of Buffalo, New York. And I'll be your host as we head to Oak Park, the Chicago suburb and Frank Lloyd Wright Mecca, and hear about the ins and outs of Unity Temple. I'll also be giving you some suggestions for unique and design-centric holiday gift ideas that also support public right sites with a short gift guide today. And we'll close out with some news about our plans for 2023. So before we dig in, I'd like to give a huge thanks to the team at Forever Ready Productions. Without the support of Allison and her crew, we would not have been able to have pulled off such a robust and successful season of Wright Virtual Visits. While you don't see Allison here on screen, she is steadfast in her support of the program and working skillfully behind the scenes to pull off the production of each of our episodes this year. Because of Forever Ready's support, we were certainly able to raise the bar in terms of production value, and we are incredibly grateful for that. So thanks, Forever Ready Productions. Looking back at 2022, we had a truly fantastic season with virtual visits to 16 sites over 10 episodes. And that doesn't even include the very special World Heritage Edition. The program brought us as far west as the Hollyhock House in Los Angeles for our February episode, which paired that property with the Krause House in Kirkwood, Missouri, and as far east as, and someone can surely correct me if I'm wrong, as geography is not necessarily my strong suit, but I believe it's neck and neck between the Western New York Wright sites, the Martin House in Buffalo, and Graycliff, and Falling Water, which is, of course, in Mill Run, Pennsylvania, and started off our 2022 season with an episode back in January that focused on the fireplaces of Falling Water, some of which they actually liked, and the Westcott House in Springfield, Ohio. Remember, you can access recordings of all past visits from 2020 through 2022 at savewright.org, the Frank Lloyd Wright Building Conservancy's website, and navigate to Wright Virtual Visits. Allison, can you put the detailed URL up on that screen? Perfect. So without further ado, let's now get along to the reason why we're here today. I'd like to pass it over to Heidi Ruley, Executive Director of the Unity Temple Restoration Foundation, streaming today on site at Unity Temple. I also want to remind you to please post your questions as they come to you, as we will definitely have time for a Q&A. Okay, Heidi, what are you going to share with us today?
Great. Hey, everybody. It's good to see you again. I quickly just want to say a thank you to the person behind the camera today, our program manager, Alice Klaska. So thank you, Alice, for doing this with us today. So we're going to be doing a bit of a tour of Unity Temple while talking about the challenges that a lot of public sites face with the ongoing projects and preservation of the building, just to give you kind of a behind-the-scenes idea of how we do all of this. But we're standing here in Unity House, which is the social side of Unity Temple. And this is where initially when the building was first designed, this space was designed for the congregation to meet and socialize after a service. So here's where you would have food and drink and a more casual atmosphere. Today, this space is used similarly on Sundays, which is the day the congregation uses the building for services. Then the rest of the week, this whole building is more of a public site where we have tours Monday through Saturday. Unity Temple Restoration Foundation does programming, and we can also rent the building out for private personal events, corporate meetings, and things like that. So Unity House, Alice, if you want to give a quick spin around, is here as the public side of the social side of the building. It does get a lot of wear and tear with things like furniture being moved around, catering being set up, and then a lot of people here to socialize. So what I wanted to mention is that the building gets a lot of wear and tear because of all that use, which could happen in the form of chips in the corner of our columns, paint, wearing off, of course, stains in carpeting and things like that. We have, tens of thousands of people here a year. So these are some of the things we need to work with. So I think Allison is going to pop up a photo of Unity House as it was before our restoration, which took place in 2015 to 2017. You can see the colors there are very dark. There's not a whole lot of texture. The original texture on the walls had been covered so many times, it looked flat. And then this is what it looks like today, the same view. So you can see there's a lot going on with the way the paint was applied and the way the walls were texturized. And it's because of the extreme amount of work that went into that, it's also quite expensive and a detailed process to repair them. So we're going to walk over to this column over here to show you some wear and tear. And actually, Allison, can you pull up the photo of the painting techniques? Okay, so during the restoration, there were many mock-ups done to determine what the paint finish originally looked like and what it should continue to look like. We had experts who texturized the walls and then did this applied paint wash system. So when something happens to these walls, we can't just touch it up with a can of paint. So you can see here on the corner, there's chips that happen. This is just human error. People make mistakes. Sometimes a chair gets knocked into there or a table might get knocked in when we're doing setup, and we just can't come here and take a brush and touch it up. So we are working on getting a professional, more of an expert who can help repair these corners and reapply the finish. Let's go this way, actually, and look at this model. We're walking into one of the alcoves of Unity Temple. We have this fabulous model, which gives you a good explanation of how the building is arranged. We have the auditorium, which will go in last on this side. We're standing here in the Unity House. And the reason why I'm showing you this is just to orient you to the exterior of the building. The front of the building here, which runs along the busiest street in Oak Park called Lake Street, that is where we have a new geothermal system that was installed during the restoration. Alice, do you have a photo of that? Allison. Okay, so that is a shot of what was going on. We had 9 wells that were drilled deep into the ground. I'm forgetting off the top of my head, 50, 60 feet. And that provided, that was the beginning of the geothermal project. And there's mechanical equipment, a lot of technical computerized equipment that make this thing work. Yeah, we can take that off now. But just to give an idea of, we don't have a simple air conditioning system here. If something is off, if the temperature's off, we can't just go change the thermostat. We have to actually hire contractors, and it's a very expensive process. We also do a lot of preventative maintenance, just scheduled inspections, scheduled repairs. But as you know, things happen and we have to respond in kind. So there's a bit of an expense there. Another surprising expense might be in something as simple as a light fixture. Can you see this one here? So these globes hang pretty low down here in the alcove. In fact, if I can touch it, you know it's pretty low. And if one of these breaks, again, just by human error, someone might accidentally bump it with the table as they're moving things around in the space. Inevitably, it will break. These, we cannot just run to Home Depot and get a replacement. These are custom made, and they're about $350 per globe. So one of these breaks, my heart just sinks. Because it's a costly replacement. So I'm sure a lot of the public sites are like this. You know, every little repair, every little fix is not simple, it's not easy, and it's not cheap. So we're constantly working on preventative maintenance and preservation of our sites. So we're now going to walk from Unity House through the foyer to show you some work that needs to be done on the exterior. And as we do that, I think Alice is going to give you another peek of Unity House. Okay, we're going to head outside. It's awfully cold today in Oak Park, but we'll do this briefly. So we are on the east side of Unity Temple, facing the entryway. And this area gets a lot of sun damage. We get direct sun right on our entryway here. And of course, there's always water damage during inclement weather. So the results are a lot of our wood and our doors in the trimmed get worn off. And of course, now water gets on that trim or gets on the wood. it causes a lot of damage. So even though this was just done 5 years ago, we already need to restore these doors again and probably do a better job moving forward of preventing this from happening again. Also, when you have a building that's built out of concrete, you get a little water in there through a small crack, it freezes, it expands, and then we have more spalling and cracking of the concrete. So Alice is showing you an area that we need to get working on pretty soon. So again, every building has constant maintenance, but it's even more so when you have a site that's used, mainly like example, and it has such unique material. Right now you're looking again at the foyer. And we're going to walk from the foyer. We're going to experience a little bit of that compression and release that Frank Lloyd Wright is so known for. While we're walking through, the ceiling height changes several times. It gets lower. And the area we're about to walk into is called a cloister. It's the entrance into the auditorium, but it makes you feel almost as though you went downstairs to like a basement level with a lowered ceiling and very little natural light. Frank Lloyd Wright does this on purpose. He wants you to feel visually compressed down in the space in order to have a more dramatic effect when you're released into the auditorium, which we're going to take you right now. So the auditorium, how we reference it, because for our purposes, this is not a religious area. But when we do performing arts and tourism, the congregation would most likely refer to this as a sanctuary. But here in the auditorium, we are filled with the beautiful skylights that Alice was showing you. During the restoration, we added some LED lights because it gets really dark up there at the top balcony during the night. We are finding that those I'm sure the bulbs themselves are fine, but some of the wiring needs repairs or needs maintenance. This is not an easy fix. The contractor actually has to go on the roof underneath the protective structure and then do the work there. So again, something unexpected that is more pricey than normal, but more complicated than just changing a bulb in your own home. Actually, we want to talk a little bit about plaster work and things like water damage that had to get done. So I think Allison's pulling up a photo. So that's showing some of the damage that was done pre-restoration. There was definitely some leakage, a lot of leakage on the roof. And a lot of the plaster had cracked and was removed. And so in order to fix that, we had to do a lot of those special painting techniques and reapplying the texture. Now you get an idea of how that looks today. It's beautiful, it's clean. The restoration crew did such an amazing job. And I'm gonna knock on wood here. We haven't had any leakage since the work was done. But again, just to give you an idea of some of the work we have to do to keep this from happening, and then a lot of the technique that's involved if we do have any damage. Also, we have all these beautiful art glass windows, both in the skylights and in the clear story windows. And during the restoration, I think we have a photo of that. It shows how we dealt with those windows. They had to actually be physically removed from the site, and you can see there they're quite large. And they were shipped out to Judson Studios in LA in California. So if anything, if we have a piece of glass that cracks or if we have any repairs to do, again, it's not a simple repair, and we need experts who really know how to match up the color and match up the texture of the glass. So again, currently those are looking great, and we really hope it stays that way. But again, I'm sure all the sites, there are a lot of sites that have even more art glass that has even more color and texture to it. So I'm sure maintaining those are not an easy task either. So this was just a quick peek at what it's like to maintain and preserve a building, a public site like this that gets so much use. But I do want to say it really is a privilege to be able to be here and to have the job of caring for one of Wright's modern masterpieces and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So although it takes a lot of time, a lot of expertise, and a lot of funds, we're very happy to be able to be the group here that is able to do that. Typically, once the bricks and mortar work is done, there's not a lot of funding available to build up an endowment or a reserve to preserve the building in perpetuity. So we do rely a lot on individual donations, and we are currently in the process of building up a substantial preservation fund. So when the inevitable, unexpected repair needs to happen, we are prepared to take care of it right away, because we never want to have to restore this building to the tune of $25 million again. So I hope you enjoyed a quick peek into Unity Temple and some of the work that we do at the public sites. And I think, Anna, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, Heidi, could you give us a sense of the restoration timeline?
Absolutely. So the work itself was between 2015 and 2017, about 2.5 years, but there had been planning going on for about 10 years prior to that. We were given a $10 million seed grant from the Alphawood Foundation, a Chicago-based organization. And with that, Unity Temple went into full fundraising mode for a couple of years. The building was completely shut down during that time. The congregation had to worship in a different church, and the whole building was encased in scaffolding and was wrapped. So it was a continual effort for 2.5 years, and then it was completely done and reopened in June of 2017.
So you talked about individual giving as a large source of funding to address the ongoing maintenance concerns, which are never going to go away. Could you tell us about other revenue streams that might support the operations?
Sure, yeah. So as far as general operations or day-to-day maintenance, that's a separate animal than long-term preservation. So our general operations come in the form from revenue from programs, individual donations, grants to support our arts and culture and tourism. We have a very small online museum store. Let's see, what else we do to raise money? We have fundraisers occasionally. So there's a lot of different ways to pull in the revenue for day-to-day maintenance and general operations. For the long-term preservation fund, that's mostly going to be potentially family foundations and then a lot of individual donations that are specifically designated for that purpose.
Can you remind us how someone can experience Unity Temple, when you do tours, or what to do if you're interested maybe in even sitting in on a service?
Yeah, so tours are available Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday, they are from 9 to 3, and Saturdays 9 to 12. We have some docent guided tours during the day, as well as self-guided with an audio tour. You can also come really get an interesting experience at one of our programs. We have concerts, dances, other types of performing arts, lectures, typically that are here in the auditorium. And those are open to the public. Sometimes they're free, often they're ticketed, but at a really reasonable price. So we encourage people to come in for those programs and experience this building in a whole new way. And the congregation has services every Sunday, and Sundays are their days. We don't have any programs or tours then. So although you cannot come in just to take a quick peek at the building during a service, they are very welcoming, and we'll be happy for you to come and attend a service while you experience the building.
Thanks, Heidi. We just had a question come in. Could you talk about your experience with some recent flooding that happened in 2022 and how you were able to deal with that situation?
Yeah, that was one of those unexpected situations. We had a sewer backup, fortunately not actual sewage, but contaminated water that went through our lower level right underneath where I'm standing right now. Fortunately, there was no historic fabric that was disturbed, but we had to remove all of the flooring, portions of the walls that were drywalled, and basically reconstruct all of that. So again, there was no historic materials. It was pretty simple fix as far as material selection, and we didn't have the same types of techniques down there that we've been using throughout the rest of the building. But yeah, that happened at the end of July and just wrapped up about a month ago. And I was out of office that whole time, so it was an interesting situation. Mostly that was taken care of by insurance, though, so we were fortunate about that.
Well, thank you so much. That was amazing. Great to see the spaces and to have some insight into, all the work that you do over at Unity Temple.
Pleasure.
I'm going to move into the gift guide portion of our program today. Before we close out the episode, as many of us are in the holiday shopping mode, I just wanted to take the opportunity to draw your attention to a handful of wonderful gift suggestions. The purchase of each helps to support the ongoing operations of a public rights site. First, I have to start with this wonderful brand new book all about Unity Temple. The book is just $35, and when you purchase it directly from Unity Temple Restoration Foundation, a portion of your dollars will go directly to ensuring that Heidi can continue to work to further the foundation's mission and properly care for the important property. So, Heidi, do you want to share a bit more about this exciting new publication?
Yeah, this really did just come out this fall. And in fact, it's not even in regular stores until hopefully the end of this month. So you can only purchase this book from Unity Temple Restoration Foundation on our online store or in person. All the photography was done by an amazing architectural photographer, James Caulfield, and the book was written by Pat Cannon. They are local here in the Oak Park area. And our restoration architect, Gunny Harbo, actually wrote an excerpt about the restoration. So it is one of the most beautiful books I've seen. James Caulfield's photography is just amazing. He's took countless photos of this space. So it's a great gift item for yourself or for someone else. And we just got a new shipment in yesterday. So I've got plenty more to sell online. It's at utrf.org /or/store.
Great. Okay, so next up, from the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation's vast online store, shop.franklloydwright.org, an essential for that write-a-file in your life, a Frank Lloyd Wright hat. This is an easy and special gift for sure. Next, we have gorgeous earrings from the Krause House in Ebsworth Park, Kirkwood, Missouri. Two unique designs which were inspired by details of the Krause House. They both reference the Krause House's stained glass, which was designed by the original homeowner, Russell Krause, a nationally recognized stained glass artist. And these can only be purchased through the Krause House's website, ebsworthpark.org. Next up, how special is this? It's a new product to the Falling Water shop, a gorgeous snow globe featuring their iconic site. I personally appreciate that the snow here is very glittery. And this snow globe is $75 and would make a very special gift. It's available for purchase, again, directly from Falling Water at fallingwatermuseumstore.org. And next up, from Beth Shalom in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania, be sure to visit their online store and navigate, their website and navigate to the online store where you can shop several items, including this book, which is perfect for the budding young architect in your life. It's just $15. And while I'm sure that you can find it on Amazon, when you purchase it directly from Beth Shalom, you will also be supporting something very important. Next up, another gift idea for the children in your life. This one is a bit of a splurge and totally worth it. It's a Bagheera Classic metal ride-on pedal car from the Westcott House in Springfield, Ohio. While Bagheera is a French toy designer, this particular car is very reminiscent of the beloved Westcott car and the company created by the Westcott family, who commissioned Wright to design their house in 1908. And it's just so fantastic. And it also comes in red. So it's available at westcottstore.org. And next, from my colleagues at the Martin House in Buffalo, is this really beautiful wooden charcuterie board. It's hand-sourced walnut and handcrafted by a local woodworker. The price point is really incredible at $52, and it's discreetly branded with the Martin House's logo. It's only available through the Martin House, and there is the address of their online store. And next slide, please. Of course, I have to mention Great Cliff's online store, shopgreatcliff.org. When you order from us online by noon on December 16th, your item will arrive by December 25th. Please be sure to check with each individual Wright site store for their own recommendations on shipping timelines. What I want to recommend from our store are these really high quality and unique textiles. We have pillows and runners and placemats, all inspired by Wright or arts and crafts designs made by Rennie and Rose. And what you see here is a design just for Grey Cliff that specifically references Wright's diamond window on our main house. And lastly, a meaningful and environmentally conscious gift, good for any occasion, is of course the gift of membership or experience at your favorite Wright site or a site that you've been meaning to visit. So just navigate to that site's website, and in most cases, you can purchase directly online, or when in doubt, just give that site a call. So, in closing, I just wanted to thank everyone for tuning in today and all season. Whether you are tuning into the live stream or watching the recording, we are grateful you are engaging with the program and hope that this will inspire you to ultimately visit the many sites that we feature. I'm excited to let you know that we are committed to continuing the Wright Virtual Visits program in 2023. There will be some formatting changes, and the schedule and roster will be announced early in the new year, so please stay tuned. There will also be a change to our Wright Virtual Visits organizational team as Heidi is stepping down. Heidi has truly been an integral part of the program from the beginning, and we will definitely miss her excellent coordination skills and her unmatched screen presence. So, thank you, Heidi, for all of your hard work on this. You will definitely be missed behind and on the screen.
It's been an awesome experience, and I'm looking forward to being a viewer of all the ones moving forward. So good luck, you guys.
Thanks, Heidi. Eric Rogers and I will still be working on this project with maybe a new face, and we will be in touch soon with all the details of the 2023 season. We are still very committed to the original goal of Wright Virtual Visits, which is to bring visibility to public Wright sites across the country. So stay tuned. We'll be posting all news on our Facebook page. And until then, from myself, Eric, and Heidi, and all of the public Wright sites, have a wonderful, healthy, and inspiration filled holiday season. We'll see you next year. Bye.